Hello everyone, welcome to Help Me Understand. This is Saika again, and I really tried hiding under these pile of books, but I could not. These are some of the self help books I have, and it's been a journey to read these self help books in itself. Like, self help is such a vast world. So, name them like Atomic Habits by James Clear, amazing author. Like, I've read this and thoroughly enjoyed it. So, this is definitely one of the books that I'd recommend. And then I have the 5 a.m. Club, written by Robin Sharma. So he's also a very good author, and I've really enjoyed reading his other book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, more than the 5 a.m. Club. The 5 a.m. Club does have really eccentric characters, though. So yeah, it's one of the good reads, I'd say. And there are many other self-help books which I have read, but today I'm not going to recommend how which self-help book you must be reading, how many self-help books should you actually read to reach that optimum level of self-help that you need for yourself. So, but what I'm rather going to discuss today is how much of self-help do we need, because it's vast. The number of books available, it's vast. The number of blogs available, it's vast. The number of stories you get to hear, the number of people you get to know through the stories of people you get to know through self-help is really a lot. So I'm just going to put these books aside, and we're going to talk about how much self-help do we really need. Because the more and more we read, the more we tend to get confused. And I think it's a very normal thing to happen when you are in your 20s, when there is nobody ideally guiding you, right? So the self-help is necessary. I do recommend you to read a lot of books on self-help till the time you get confused and you look for clarity. Because more than self-help, what we really need is clarity. And the amount of clarity that we get is not so much that we expect from self-help, right? We often think that if like a book can change our life, but that usually does not happen. You see, the self-help authors keep coming with a new book every now and then. It's because they do know that one book is not enough, and they do have all these ideas, they do have learnings themselves which they want to share with the world every 2 years or 3 years, as and when they get some information, or they get a new idea, or they start practicing something new, and that actually gives them really good results. So before I begin, I just want you to take a moment to start recollecting how many self-help books have you read, and how far have you reached from the first day you started reading your first self-help book. So personally, I have read a lot of them. Like I said, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Ikigai, Atomic Habits, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I think he is also one of the best authors we have in our time to have walked this planet, and he does write things in a very non-conventional way, that it's humor, it's a perspective where you keep on thinking, right? So all these things give us an experience of a different kind, which we may have or not had otherwise. So, and it gives us a perspective which we definitely lack in our life. But then what really happens once we start reading a lot of self-help is that we imagine to have a perfect life that we are gonna accomplish by reading all these self-help books. So that's something that keeps us unhappy most of the times. I think, at least for me, it has been that way. And the when we start, actually we get amazed with to just discover that there's so much to learn and there's so much to do. And then we get all the social media suggestions to follow this, to follow self-help gurus and high achievers, people who went from rags to riches, humans who renounce everything and want to show light to the world. But what we often miss is finding a niche we want to capitalize on, and finding a real person from whom we can learn one on one. So, no matter how much self help you read, if you aren't clear on what you really want, it's not of any help. So let's say, for example, you're very clear that you want to get fit, right? It's really important that you find a proper fitness instructor. You find a proper gym trainer, a proper yoga teacher, a proper dietitian. So they are the ones who are going to give you clarity in terms of the climate that you're residing in terms of the routine that you have, in terms of the age group that you follow, in terms of any kind of health issues that you may or may not have. So depending on that, you follow a set of things. And self-help is very generalized, I feel, when it should be very exclusive, because it's called self-help, right? So yourself is the most exclusive thing on planet. Like, there's no one else who can be you. So it should be very exclusive, and then you must find a person who will help you to sail that boat during the tough times, when you are finding you when you're finding a challenge to outgrow the current situation you are in. So most of us, unpopular opinion here, but again, most of us are doing really well, just that we need someone else to tell us that, right? I've realized this, that some days I'm really bothered, and I just need to speak to someone, and they make me realize how grateful I should be for the things that I have, and I move on. So it's also perspective. But sometimes we interpret self-help in a way that we are not doing anything and we are not achieving anything, and as a result of that, we may never be able to reach anywhere. So that's something that I feel is unhealthy. So if you are someone who has never read a single book of self-help, I definitely suggest you to read few books on self-help, for self-analysis, to help and understand yourself more, to see what are the things that you could do but you're not doing. But if you are someone who's read a lot of self-help and is stuck in this virtuous loop of reading self-help again and again, then I'd suggest you to take it easy and not be so hard on yourself. And nowadays, I also see a lot of productivity videos. Not nowadays actually, but I think like 4 or 5 years back, I was hooked on to this person's YouTube channel called Matt Diavella. He is one of the guy, Latin American, very good looking guy, who practiced certain thing for 30 days, and you know and it was amazing how he would do the self analysis of how he felt, whether he would continue doing that. For example, quitting sugar for 30 days, quitting coffee for 30 days, meditating for 30 days, and like so on and so forth. So I was hooked on to this, and he also would always encourage people to be more productive. So as a result of that, what I, as a viewer, had started doing back then was, I tried to put everything into a routine. And some days when I was really tired, I was pushing myself really hard to the point that I'd faint in office, and I wasn't really at the best of my health for those years. So not that those videos are to be blamed for that, but when we are on a journey to self help, we must really be we must really be kind to ourselves. We must really understand where we come from. We must really see whether the place we are residing in, and with the job that we have, and with the kind of lifestyle that we have, is it conducive to do everything that the person is writing? So that's a question that I'd suggest a lot of people who are into this journey of self-help to ask themselves and take it one day at a time, whether it's your meditation, your yoga, your exercise, your great diet, your intermittent fasting, or learning a new skill every single day after your 9 to 5 job. It's it's unachievable in 24 hours, and it's important to not put them in a routine. This may be the most unpopular statement I'm saying right now. They all are things which are great in themselves, right? Like exercise, good food, and good 8 hours of sleep, and a morning walk to the around nature. They're all really nice things to do in themselves, but then putting them in a routine, it just makes it more cumbersome. So to simplify your routine and your time, I think it's important not to follow the self-help so religiously. There can be few takeaways from every book, from every person we meet, and every productivity channel if we happen to watch them. But then it's really important not to go on and on about them and make our entire routine and make our entire routine obsessed with what's given in the self-help books. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Signing off today again. Help me understand. Have a great day.